Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls, coming to you from the West Coast. Today I'm going to show you how to create this nice little box. It's a great sturdy little box to hold my 6x6 album that I made. It's got a little handle decorated on two sides. Oops. Opens right up and my 6x6 album fits inside. Folds right up and it closes with some little Velcro dots. Let's get started. Now to make that box, you need 3 pieces of square paper, one 12 by 12, one 10 by 10, and one 9 by 9. And then you need one sheet of paper that's 16 by 7. Or if you don't have 16 by 7, you can kind of piece it, and I'll show you that when we get to it. But let's get started. And then we need a scoreboard. Okay, now you're going to take your taller one, so your box base, and you're going to sit it inside one of your box lids like that, so that you have an overlapping, and that's going to be the strong base of your box. So to do that, I'm going to put some glue in there to hold it together, and this Kalal all-purpose glue is like cement when it hardens, and so it's very nice at strengthening that bottom. Now, like I said, this is just going to slide in, see, right, just like that. You got to kind of get those corners in, push it down, and then give it a good burnish all the way around the corners and across all along the sides. And it should fit right down in there. So this was your 2.5 inch deep one. This was your 1.5 inch deep one. So now when you take your, what started out as your 9 by 9 and scored at 1 inch, it'll slide right over the top and make that perfect, strong box. But we don't want to stop at a box. We're going to wrap the box with this piece of cardstock so that when the box is together, let me put it back together and I'll show you. So we put the box together, and then this is going to start here at the end, and it's going to wrap around here and around there and create a flap to make like a little carrying case. So this is 2.5 inches. So we're going to score, this is 16 by 7. And like I said, you could do this in 2 different pieces of paper. So you could have one that comes up and across here, and then another one that comes across and down. So you could do it in 2 pieces if you wanted, and it would actually add additional strength, but I'm not going to do that. So we're going to score this just to give it a little bit of help wrapping around. We're going to score it at 2.5. And that's going to go across the bottom. And then the box is 7, so we're going to come over to 9.5. And then we want to score at, from there, let's just go ahead and then we're going to go across the top at 2.5. Actually, I'm going to give it 1 extra 1/8 of an inch to wrap around the top so it's not completely tight at the top. So let's go ahead and burnish that. So 2.5. This was the 9.5. You just want to make sure it's good and square. And it doesn't have to be burnished super strong because you're going to wrap it around the box, and so you're just trying to give it a little bit of a helping hand. So this piece, you're going to put your box together, and we're going to glue the bottom piece on to those. Just like that. But because this lid has to come off, I need a hinge right in there. So I'm going to, actually, it's going to go, take it back, it's going to go this way. But I need a hinge so that this one, if you see, it's going to go like this, but this box has to open. So I need another hinge right about there. So this is 1 inch deep. So we're going to go ahead and score it again. Missed that square. little scoreboard, at 1.5. So this is 16 by 7. I was scored at 1.5, 2.5, 9.5, and 12. And that one's going to go that way because that's going to be your hinge. So it's going to look like that, sort of. This is the most complicated part, which it's not that hard, but you're going to glue this part onto the top, like that. Right there. Then you're going to glue this part to that and this part to that, but don't glue over that. You just kind of glue it down like that. And then we'll glue this part just to this top part of the lid, just to this piece, not to the, just to this 1 inch piece, not to the 1.5 inch piece. Okay. So I'll get some. I'm going to start with this one because this is the easiest one to glue. And then once you get this one glued down, the rest of it actually comes along pretty easily. And you want to glue this to the top piece, which is your 1 inch deep piece. Because this piece is already double layered. So now you want to create essentially a double layer on that other piece. And just make sure it's good and square and straight on the sides, so it's even here and here. And then it's going to wrap around just like that. And that looks good. And then without taking that off, I'm going to glue these pieces. And with those, I'm going to use some tacky glue. And I'm going to put tacky glue on here. I'm not going to put tacky glue on that seam, on that score line, but I'm going to put it on both sides of the score line because I want to glue it to both pieces. But not on the score line. And just wrap that up and burnish it on there. And the tacky glue holds pretty quickly, but you can turn it up and kind of push it down this way, and that'll help too. Okay, now on this top piece, we're going to glue just the 1 inch piece. So like, get my tacky glue again. I'm going to put glue just on this 1 inch piece, not on the other, because I don't want to glue the whole box completely shut. I just want to create a hinged lid. I want to get a good amount of tacky glue all the way to the edges and all the way along that seam and along this edge. Okay. Fold that over and hold it down. Give it a good burnish. And that's basically your box. And then a handle's going to go on here, and you've got a flap, and I'm going to put some Velcro dots on the underside there to hold it shut. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and decorate it up. And the mats and layers also give you some good strength, so you can add mats and layers on there. So let's go ahead and cut our mats and layers. And see, it's going to open just like that and close right back up. That's how it works. So I'm going to set it to the side and let that glue dry while I'm cutting mats and layers. So I made some decorative panels that are going to go on it. One's going to go on the front, one's on the back, and one's for the flap that folds over. And these are 6.5, yeah, 6.5 by 6.5. And remember my box panels were 7 by 7. So I'm going to mat them with a 6 3/4 or just over 6 3/4. And then this is 6.5 by 3.5. And that flap was 4. So again, I'll mat and layer this in blue, and then I'm going to cut some blue panels to cover the rest of the sides and the top as well, even though they don't have any decorative panels. So let's cut those. So I need 2 that are just under 7 by 7, one that's just under 7 by 4, and then I'm going to also put just a solid blue panel on here. So this is 2.5 by 7, so I need one that's just a 1/4 inch smaller than that. And then I'm going to cover these 2 as well. So this is 7 by 1.5 and 1, and I need 2 of those. And then I'm going to put another panel on the inside of this flap and this flap. So I'll show you that in as well. So I'll be right back with you as I finish my mats and layers. Okay, I have all my mats and layers cut. I'm just going to glue these on there. So this one's going to go on this flap. And I'm going to use my Collal glue just again because it adds strength. So I don't know if you can see, but this is pulling just a little bit because of the weight of the flap. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to add some tacky glue onto those flaps of my box lid just to strengthen that. I've got the tape pen, but I think that tacky glue will just help hold that together. And then I cut a piece of blue and I'm just going to mat it right like that. And that'll just cover that and also add some strength to it. Okay, and the last thing we need to do is, well, one, I'm going to put a handle on it right on the top, and then I'm going to put some Velcro dots on the front just to hold that shut. If you're wondering, these are the Crafter's Companion shimmer inks that I use to make the background. And the stamps are actually from Sea Creatures or whatever stamp set that I had in my stash. So the handle is 1 inch by 6 inches, and then I just cut a 3/4 inch piece of okay. Now to put the handle on, you're just going to put it right in the middle of the top, and you just want to kind of use your finger or a bone folder or something, give it a little bit of curve, but you're going to fold up on the ends. One thing that I found that makes it a little bit easier to do is once you get it matte and layered, take and score at about, let's make it 1 inch on each side. That'll give it that nice gluing spot. So you're going to glue on these 1 inch tabs like that. Use some tacky glue. And you just want to essentially center it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of make it equidistant here. Even side to side with about that much of a curve. Now to attach the Velcro dots, the easiest way to do it is to take them and put them together. And then they're sticky on both sides. But I've found the sticky is, you need to add a little bit of tacky glue on there just to help. And then you want to open this up, stick it on wherever you want it. Then let's go ahead and do the other one. Which side did I put that on? Okay. Put a little bit of tacky glue on there. Put it on the other side in about the same spot. Then put a little bit of tacky glue on the other side. decide where you want it to close and just push it down. Let that tacky glue dry, and then you'll be able to peel the Velcro dots apart. If you try to peel, when you first try to peel the Velcro dots apart, be very careful, because if the tacky glue is not 100% dry, you'll rip your paper, because it is just cardstock and you could rip that. So I'll show you what I mean. You gotta be careful. You're gonna stick your hand in there and just kind of hold each side the first, when you open it the first time, until that tacky glue dries, so they don't peel off and rip your cardstock. Just like that. And then you can press those down. Now, you could use magnets if you wanted to do something that wasn't visible. I did magnets on one of them, and I didn't find they were strong enough. The magnets were strong enough, so when you picked it up, if you had any weight in it, it would just flop open. So that's why I used the Velcro dots. But my 6x6 album fits in there perfectly, and it closes right up and looks adorable. You can pick it up. If you wanted to put blue on the bottom, you could, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good evening.